second in our lineup is, first of all, I didn't record the entirety of this, the drawing process, because again, I wasn't sure if I was going to be making a video on this, and then I decided, you know what, let's go for it. So I might as well, I'm here. Just record it. So these are characters that I am doing prep work for before I draw my own webcomic. So this is Solar. She is the Jutagonist, and this is her character design. She's slightly salty because her long-term friend, who used to be shorter than her, recently grew taller than her, and now she's like, okay, maybe I'm just going to, wear some chunky sneakers and hopefully nobody will notice. Except she's still shorter than him, so, it doesn't really help. So, interesting, she has a baseball cap, and which was in the design from the beginning, because all of these characters I actually designed like a year ago in a sketchbook, and then while doing this I kind of changed things quite a bit. So Solar, her hairstyle has changed, and she always wore a baseball cap, and she also wore a bomber jacket, but I never actually knew what type of bomber jacket she had, or what the design was. Originally it was going to be like two dragons on the front, and then I decided, you know what is cooler than that? Flames and a dragon on the back. So because bomber jackets have have that white area on the arms. I decided to, instead of making that white area just like a streak or like a thick streak, I decided to emulate that with the blue flames because it looks cool and I like it. The wings are based off of Dragonfly Wings, and they do like the Tinkerbell thing where they can go limp and they'll just kind of hang on the back. Dragonfly Wings have a sort of pattern to them, so hers also has a sort of pattern to them, which I'm like, I wonder how many times I'm actually going to redraw that. But I'm using an overlay layer to get, because there's the base color of the wings, there's like a purplish, a darker purple area to it, and then there's a slight bluish tint or sheen to them, and they're mostly see-through, except like they almost act more like colored glass, if that makes sense. So you can see through them. It's just like they slightly tint the area behind them a bit of a bluish purpley color. And the way I plan to get that effect is by using a bunch of overlay layers, because that makes sense. Or what I think it's an overlay layer. But when the background is white, I can't really do that, because when you have an overlay layer and the background is white, you just get white. So so the side profile is the only one that does it, because there's wings overlapping with each other. And I can see how it's supposed to be going, and all the ones on the side are more like a color picking thing. I don't shade the character turnarounds because I don't need to, and it is so that I can get the colors for stuff. And what's happening here is I keep going. I need to be zoomed in to be able to see what I'm doing with the fire, but I also need to keep going backwards and forwards between this front profile so that I can see what the design on the fire is, because I need to match the design for the flame with each one. Otherwise, because this is the point of this, so that I have continuity when you get to the point. She also has Solar. Her name is Solar. I don't know if I actually said that or I just started calling her by her name. Her name is Solar, and she has a piercing. She has a nose piercing, and it's like a shape. It's a little star, and I'm going to also do her facial expression sheet as well, because I can, and yeah. So I have her character turnaround as a reference sheet, and then I'm using that to try and make sure that her face shape stays consistent, and I can draw in her different facial expressions. She is okay. If you watched my previous video about Cricket is the main character, then in story, I say main character. Solar is just as much. It's like the story has 3 main characters. If you watch anime and if you watch Haikyuu, it's like how Hinata is technically the main character, but Kageyama is as much a main character as Hinata. It's that kind of dealio, except there's 3. Did the sketch too small, so I made it larger, and also later on I realized the cap kind of looks like it's floating, so later on I go back to the character turnaround and move the cap a bunch. I hope I have that recorded, because that was annoying to do, and it took a while, but yeah, I hope that I have that recorded. So I do have it recorded. Here we go. Okay, that's good. So I'm trying to. You can see the problem, right? It was like the cap looked like it was too small for her head, and it just didn't work. So I need to move the cap as well as the hair, so that everything matches and works well. So I'm turning the colors. I'm turning the hair off, the color of the hair off, so that I can actually see what I'm doing when I'm filling in stuff again. And yeah, it became an ordeal where I had to really, just redo the cap entirely. It was fine. It's just like I thought I was finished, but I wasn't. But like it's better than having to do it later on. So, and that's a mistake I should have fixed a while before. But yeah, this is kind of like I was trying to do one thing, and then I ended up doing this instead, and I was like, okay, shoot. But yeah, so what I do with the expressions, I draw a front profile, and then I also draw a 3/4 profile, and then I flip it. And for Cricket, I flip it and I change the hair, because her hair is messy and unsymmetrical. For Solar, I need to take off her nose piercing, but other than that, I don't really need to do much. And then I just change the eyes and the mouth, and sometimes the nose, depending on the expression. And that's pretty much it. That's how I do the facial expressions without having to, with the least amount of time wasted, or with the most amount of time saved. Again, going backwards and forwards between these two, because I start one, I'm like, okay, I need to finish this, otherwise it's going to bug me, and then I go to it, I do that for a while, and I go, okay, I need to fix that before that starts to bug me, and then we do like a backwards and forwards. So, what I like doing is do a neutral expression, angry expression, a happy expression, and other, and then like other or miscellaneous expressions that I'm like, yeah, you this is your personality. So Solar is kind of like she definitely is not a goody two shoes because she blew up the science lab last year. Her last year of school. Okay, summary of the story again, because probably should do that. So it's about these through high school students. Solar has been held back 2 years, and she is in her. All of them are in their last year. Cricket has never gone to high school before, so her first year of high school is also her last year of high school. Omar has not been introduced yet, but he is the third of the main trio, and he has been held back 1 year. And Solar, this lady here, is has been held back 2 years. So she's very much like, okay, she's more upset with herself than anyone else is. She's like, what happened? One of those makes sense. The other one feels like a fever dream. And I can tell you why it feels like a fever dream. It's because she didn't sleep at all. She was living off of coffee. But yeah, she is a hard worker. And then kind of goes haywire. She gets stuck in things in her interests, and then she forgets about everything that's ever existed. And currently her main problem is she first she doesn't really know what she wants to do with her life, but is in denial and refuses to actually think about that. So that's not good. Yeah, she doesn't know what she wants to do with her life, but she's like, I'm going to go to university. That's it. That's what she knows, but she doesn't know why she wants to do that. It's just like she feels like she has to, or she should, and that's what she's going to do. But she doesn't really have a proper goal in mind. So that's kind of like her issue. She needs to chill. But she has a pretty addictive person. She gets addicted to things easily. She finds things that she likes, and then she's like, I like this one, I'm gonna stick to it. And then by the time she realizes what's happened, she's kind of like, oh, it's been a month. What happened? Why can't time just, stop for a week? And then I can do my thing, and then I can get back to stuff. And right now, she's kind of just dived headfirst into study, which does not come easy to her. She's just very stressed, so she's able to do it. Because this is literally her last year. If she does not pass this year, she's not graduating from high school. She's going to be a high school dropout. So she's like, okay, help. I mean, I'm a high school dropout, technically, so, I don't particularly care, but she does. She cares very strongly. She wants something, she wants success, but does not know what type of success. So she is currently in a state of, let us just, work very hard and not look after ourselves for a while, and we will be okay. On the other side of the spectrum, we also have her very impulsive nature, which is, she is a bit of a hothead in a way. And the thing is, the way she is a moon fairy, which, so this is like a fantasy setting, and the way that things go are, there's the school specifically is fairies only, And the reason for that is a lot of the curriculum is flying based, and elves and orcs and such do not have wings and can't fly. So the thing is, fairies, one, have wings. Two, they each fairy has like a type of magic or a specific a specific type of magic or way of doing magic that comes more naturally to them. It's like they don't particularly have to learn it. It's just kind of something that accidentally happens. It's like, I don't know what an example would be. Like, I can do that with my neck. It's kind of something you figure out in your own time by accident, and except for fairies, it's like, oh, I can do this type of thing, or like a toddler fairy will suddenly make lightning fall, and the parents are like, oh no, what have you done? Why? So I didn't say what Cricket's type of magic was, because that will take too long to explain. But Solar is a moon fairy, and what a moon fairy is that they reflect and redirect light. So they don't create it, but they reuse light that already exists. Now the thing with Solar is, like I said, she is quite intense with her interests and just most things. There are certain fairies can learn magic, and they find learning magic easier than humans. And the thing is, because Solar is quite hot-headed, she is actually not that suited for certain types of magic, such as fire magic, but she really likes fire, as it is seen in her bomber jacket, which is actually not her bomber jacket. It's Omar's bomber jacket, who she pestered a lot and asked, like, could I have that? And Omar was like, no. And then he gave it to her. And then because the jacket is actually not made for fairies, it's made for humans. But Omar has a habit of... Omar generally just likes shopping for different species and uses brands that are specifically like elves or human or orc, that type of stuff, instead of only fairy specific brands, which generally accommodate for wings better. But he generally wears stuff that's a bit larger because he doesn't like showing his wings particularly. So he once he decided, okay, I'm gonna give this to Solar, he kind of cut like an area for her where her wings can fit, and so she can still fly while wearing it, and she won't accidentally crumple her wings. So yeah, that's nice of him. He wanted to try and like preserve the flame, but then he was like, okay, hun, you're gonna have to deal with it, because this was not in the design. He's like, I'll make you a better one in the future, but this is my old one and it has been repurposed. Why am I redrawing the jacket? Because I would like a further, a more detailed version of it, so that I can see all the details and recreate them. But I got sidetracked and said, like, so, okay, some magic is better suited for different people. So Solar is not good at fire magic because it clashes with her personality and with her intense personality, which has a habit of going overboard. And So what happens is she tries doing a fire spell. Let's take D&D for instance, and she tries to use a fire. She tries to throw a fireball, and instead of like throwing it, she ends up like it explodes in her hands, and as the thing she was trying to explode explodes, but she also explodes and takes damage, which is not ideal. And you know, that is not something you want to be happening when you have fragile wings. So you know, Solar and Fire do not get along, but Solar is very persistent on said thing. But yeah, she tries. She's like, I am going to get this fire spell to work. It does work, it just works a bit too well. But yeah, she is a tryhard. That's what she is. That's exactly what she is. There's no other way of saying it. I love her. I always start with like the characters. You are fine, and then a month passes, and I'm like, okay, I am very attached to you now. I feel bad. Oof, I am gonna be sad one day when stuff happens. I am sorry to you, my darling. Yeah. I love him. I love him to bits. I'm also trying to like talk about stuff that are either that have happened in the past, or stuff that are like not supposed to be kept secret, but I don't know when I would mention them. And also trying to stay away like, is that a spoiler? No, it's probably not. It's fine. But yeah. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day. See you later, and goodbye.